Hey, failure, you've heard, is part of the process. You know you failed a few times. And unfortunately, sometimes failure becomes a fear of ours that hinders us from pressing forward again. And on top of that, failure becomes this thing where we are met with the reality or proof that we aren't good or aren't great or aren't capable. And then it becomes a hindrance to experience the life that we still want. You still want this thing, but you're looking at it and going, I can't have it. And that want is one of the greatest, deepest angers I think we all have and pains we experience. Let's talk about why we fail and how we can shift this a little bit. So, number one is lack of discipline. We don't stay disciplined. I think the biggest issue when it comes to discipline is most people don't understand what discipline means. Discipline is a word that has core aspects to it. Disciple, to follow. If you look at plan, it's like plan, to follow a plan. You don't stay disciplined because you have no plan to follow, right? So what happens is, yes, you pop in and you try something new and you have no plan, so you fall off, and it inevitably is a failure. You didn't stay on the course, down the path enough to get to the end destination. So the only proof you have is you failed. You didn't fail at the thing, you failed at having a plan that could accomplish the thing. So sitting back and going, okay, the fear I have, you can mitigate that by simply making a plan and tweaking it along the way, right? But if you don't stay disciplined, you are destined to fail. So get to the point of being able to create a plan and then stay committed. Not motivation. Motivation's fleeting, it's an emotion, and feelings are fleeting. But discipline, it's a commitment to who you are. Stay the course no matter how you feel. You find you will eventually get to that destination, and all of a sudden you'll feel great. Think about climbing a mountain. When I'm climbing a mountain, it feels good at the beginning. I'm motivated, but then midway through, I'm like, why am I doing this, right? But if I stay consistent and disciplined to the plan of the path, I get to the peak of the mountain. Boom, right? Number two, we keep making excuses. If your excuse becomes bigger than your dream, you will lose out on the destination. You won't get to the success you want. So all you'll have is proof, again, that you failed, right? The idea is you've got to stop owning the excuses and putting them out there and making them good enough, because no matter what the excuse is, it could be great. It could be a valid, amazing one. You have kids and you have bills. I get that, right? At the end of the day, an excuse is still something that stops you from moving. You have to find a solution to overcome the excuse, no matter how hard it is or valid. It's the only way to get to the place you want, so you can have proof of success and not just of failure. Number three, you don't learn from past mistakes. You keep repeating the same mistake over and over. It's why you keep dating the same guy, but he has a different name, right? It's the same kind of guy as Bob and Bill and Nick and Tommy and Susan, and you get what I'm saying. But the idea is you didn't learn. And you didn't learn because the past failure was so painful, you didn't want to look at it or admit your fault in it or admit what you could have done differently. So you say, I don't want to feel it. So you remove yourself from the feeling a little bit. And then when you're lacking what you desire, you go back into the field of play and do the same thing over and over again. It's kind of like walking through a dark field and there's an electric fence you can't see. You're walking around, you touch the fence and it hurts, failure. And as opposed to getting a flashlight, turning it on and going, where is this fence? You just step off the fence because it doesn't hurt anymore and keep walking right along in the dark, right? That is what it's like. You have to learn so you can say, okay, I'm not going to go do that again. Number four, we have low self-esteem. If you don't feel good about yourself, you don't do actions at the threshold of success. Meaning I don't feel good, I got low self-esteem, so I give low threshold actions. I kind of try, but I don't fully try, and then I go, I failed at it. Look, see, told you, and you actually are compounding your low self-esteem. So if you can simply step out of this and go, the solution is to take a out of character, unconfident, high threshold action, you actually have success. So you'll actually raise your self-esteem and do it again and again. And over time, you no longer have an issue of low self-esteem. You don't even think about it. You just take the action at the level necessary. But if you have low self-esteem and you don't work on it by taking action, because action ends suffering, the suffering of low self-esteem, you'll never break the threshold to have the success that you want. Number five, a negative attitude towards the future. That's what you have sometimes. You look at the future and go, I've already failed in the past. Who am I? I can't do that. So you don't even try. You don't even give the effort or the energy. You assume that you are a failure. No, you're not a failure. You failed at something. That version of you, that effort in that moment wasn't the greatest. But if you go back and go, well, they made the iPhone 3, 4, 5, and 6 because, well, the version at the time wasn't great. They learned something and reapplied, right? The future in their head was always better because the focus was on, we're not failures. We failed at that action. They identify with the efforts, not just the outcome. right? So identify with the efforts, take the effort, move forward because the future can be great, and you start improving over time. And all of a sudden, failures become fewer and far between, and successes become more frequent and they come faster. Those are your simple, basic top 5 ways to look at why you fail, so that if you can take some perspectives and shift and adjust them, you stop feeling that way. You have less failures and you have more success. Again, top 5 ways and top 5 reasons of why we fail.